Welcome back to another little segment of Talk Too Late. I'm joined by Mik and Prosil, which you guys see in the little corner there.
Hi.
Hey guys.
There we're gonna go over the games that were released 2 years ago, but most importantly, we already looked at the previous the games. There is one in particular that stands out together with another couple of news that we will cover in this segment. I am talking about Fallout 76. Right?
I've never heard of this game.
Well, that's pretty much my point.
Said nobody. Oh well,
really.
maybe beside you.
I kind of fell off the side of the earth, and I decided not to worry about Fallout and the existence of Fallout. This happened after I played Fallout 3 back in the days, and it's not that I didn't like it. It was a game that I wish I liked, because people talked me into the game. I think it was Prosil who told me back in the days that he had played Fallout or whatever, and I was like, okay, that sounds like something I like, but okay. Then I played Fallout 3 and I didn't like it. I mean, I did try it for a bit. I was like, this looks rough, and I played on PS3. And I don't know, it just didn't draw me very much, and from that point on I decided not to care at all. But you know, time has passed, and I'm like, I want to give old games, a second chance. Imagine that I even gave a second chance to the Red Dead Redemption 2, which we talked about in the previous episodes. I bought a copy of the game. It didn't work because there's a lot of faulty copies around, but that concludes my story with Rockstar. But now I want to do the same with Bethesda, and I wanted to ask you guys what your story is with Fallout 76, and if you played the game, a game that has been surrounded by a certain number of controversies, and maybe you guys can guide me through
it. Do I go?
Maybe it's best if I go, because I've got very little.
Cool.
I didn't buy the game because as soon as I read the promises about it, around it, the expectation, I said, like, best of luck, this is gonna be a No Man's Sky 2.0. The reality of fact is that it was much worse, and according from what all my friends told me, it was a massive disappointment. Also, people who bought the special edition, they paid like I don't know, maybe 130 pounds for having a fake plastic bag instead of the canvas one for Fallout. So backpack. Overall, to me, I saw it far away that this game couldn't happen. Now it's a free-to-play game. I've read about people blowing up the servers because they basically coordinated all three of them, and they blow up a nuclear bomb into the game, and this maybe did break the whole server. That's all I have to say about the game. I don't know much more. I really like the Fallout saga. The third one is my favorite. New Vegas and the fourth didn't evolve as much as I would have liked. It's a game that probably you should play on PC, not on console.
Yeah.
Cool. What you're seeing on the screen, by the way, it's the review from 2 years ago by the hand of Kotaku. And I'm just going to highlight a few sentences while you, Mick, maybe guide us through your experience and your story with the game.
No problem. I didn't buy the game.
Cool.
But I like a little bit of very personal story. I'm a huge fan of the Fallout saga. Maybe not huge, but I'm a decent fan of it.
A question for you both before you go deeper. Why are you guys a fan of Fallout? What is it that you liked about the 3 or the previous games?
You may go, Prosil, because this was perfectly in my story already.
Okay, then you drive where you want to go.
Okay. Basically, I started playing Fallout because back then, open world video games, which when I was in my 17, 18, were very big and were very actually getting better. And everybody played The Elder Scrolls or Fallout. My computer wasn't powerful enough to render all the details of the grass in The Elder Scrolls, but it could run perfectly Fallout 3, which was basically the same game, but since it was in the apocalyptic nuclear wasteland, there was no grass to render, and there was a lot less stuff to render. So the game could play, not smoothly, but it could play, and I fell in love with it. I played 4, I played New Vegas, so I should have played and should have bought this new game. The problem is that when the game was announced, it was announced in a very weird way. They catered to online gaming. Even though the game, they said it had a single player component, they spoke first about online. And I was like, let's see where this goes. I'm in no rush to play it now, especially if it's an online video game. And I was right. I'm gonna link you. You can put it in the doobly-doo down below. A video from the Internet Historian, which is like 20-25 minutes long, and it briefly talks about all that went wrong with this game. Trust me, it's
a lot. It's a long video.
It's a lot.
That's a long video. So you haven't played it to this day?
No.
All right. And so what was the story with the pre-orders? Do you know anyone was at trouble with pre-ordering that bag?
Not personally,
really a
but
bag?
Basically, besides the bag, there was even Nuka-Cola, which is like the Coca-Cola version of the game. Nuka-Cola rum bottles that were never shipped, and that when they did, were fully plasticky bottle that were holding liquor, super cheap liquor.
Wow.
Which smelled bad. It was a PR disaster. It was a disaster in any way. You just think about the fact that people were getting banned for exploiting some video game mechanics, and Bethesda told them to be unbanned to write an essay to Bethesda itself, explaining why they should be unbanned. There was not one thing that worked right. The game notoriously never had NPCs until like a year ago or something.
True story.
It was barely a video game. Maybe it was good, but it was barely a video game. They put gigantic monsters, like radioactive monsters, which were basically Skyrim dragons reskinned. I mean, the whole game still runs with the 2002 engine, which Bethesda keeps on patching and adding, and it's a Frankenstein engine which is completely unplayable. It still has the same bugs. Online people can just modify their frame rate and they can run faster in-game. That's the thing.
I'm also seeing that on the 5th December of 2 years ago, there was a glitch in the support system, and whoever had entered the ticket for the stupid bag that they were trying to buy, they also got their information leaked, apparently.
Somebody wrote on Reddit, don't worry, I've checked your request, they're been working on it. But now I can see all your data. How do you do that? Also, the game was not followed by the mother Bethesda company. Was like a new Austin Bethesda, very inexperienced team, but inexperience doesn't make this kind of mistakes. I guess there was a lot more behind it. Well, now Microsoft bought them, so who cares, right? 2 years after this.
Yeah. I mean, probably Microsoft saw a person struggling, like this person is almost a corpse. Let's pray. Let's loot
Good Samaritan
the dead
Microsoft.
body. Let's loot the dead body of Fallout. And that's my question really for you both regarding the future of Fallout. How does a company come back from a PR nightmare like this? And what do you think is going to happen seriously now with Microsoft in the game, so to speak? I mean, pun intended. What do you think is going to happen with Fallout? Which direction can we expect? Can we expect it to actually become maybe a proper MMO that may fit the business model of Microsoft, or do you think it's going to keep going with single player experiences, considering that these are going to go straight into Game Pass most likely?
They're already talking about it, I think.
So what do you think is going to happen in terms of direction of the Fallout brand and in terms of Microsoft influence over it?
You make first.
Maybe Microsoft will give them enough money just to make a new engine, and then we'll talk about it. Until that doesn't happen, it's really even dumb to, like, we've seen what's the other game? Outer Space, I think it's called. The new IP, which is basically from the old Fallout New Vegas developers.
I've got no idea. I'm just
you can make you can make new open world video games good, but just don't be greedy. Make a new engine. Come on.
They probably do need something. Oh, they have Starfield coming out as well. You're right.
Yeah, hopefully with a new engine.
Yeah, I mean, Starfield was supposed to be released at some point together with the
Yeah,
Elder
some
Scrolls
stuff happened.
6, but I think they've been pushed to the future. And Prosil, what do you think of the future of the Fallout brand, and what do you think it's actually going to happen? What do you wish and what it's actually going to happen?
So for me, I wish they close it there. I think the Fallout brand, it did say what it had to say. It would be great to see, new IP. Same goes for Dishonored or games like that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a page that should be closed. When it comes, to free-to gameplay like Fallout 76, probably they could attempt another things like with proper graphics, as Mick said, in new engine. But I think this, I can see Skyrim going through, but not Fallout, to be fair. And Bethesda has so many things on the plate, like Doom, Wolfenstein Saga, that they can express a much better potential when it comes to brand, whereas Fallout is not a brand that has solid character attached to it, like Hitman or something that people would recognize and would see themselves.
That's a good point. Probably Bethesda and even Dishonored didn't do very well for Bethesda in terms of market.
They were just publisher then.
Right.
Yeah.
Arcane Studios, publisher Bethesda. Yeah.
Yeah. But Dishonored was a different thing because had the mechanics mixing. It was very original game. When it was released, it was one of the best game. It caught me by surprise, the first.
Yeah, true. Me too.
The second one, I bought it. I have 2 copies. I never opened it.
It's interesting. It's not like, I agree with the first one was definitely a surprise though, but the second one is interesting.
Also because the plot of him at the beginning at Dishonored as such is very interesting. Whereas I think Fallout doesn't have that charm. Doesn't cherish anything like fun attachment.
I'll say Bethesda was and is being very clever to being publisher, because that's low risk, high reward, and they don't need to make a new engine for that. But if they want to keep making video games, especially now with Microsoft, they can't be that company that still uses the 2002 engine. Like it's ridiculous. We don't talk enough about this, but it is ridiculous. David Cage makes a new engine every game that he does. Every 10 years he makes a new engine, and the games are pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be back to Fallout, I don't think that Microsoft will have anything to invest. Also because with this step, there is a step in in the deep. Let's say a step in the deep. I don't think the Fallout brand can recover this.
That's true. How do you recover from these scores? Yeah. The ones you're looking at are the scores from Fallout 76, and it's hard for Microsoft to say, you know what, people want more Fallout. maybe
they can remaster and remake the 1 and 2. That always makes a mess of sales. If done properly.
I mean, I'm sure that actually in due time, like you let it cool down, you let people ask for it again, and then there's gonna be a resurgence in demand, and it's gonna be cool again. You're giving it time to be cool again, and maybe that will.
Which is what happened from 2 to 3.
Possibly.
A lot of years went by.
Cool, guys. We're gonna complete our little topic on, our little segment on Fallout, but we're gonna move on right away to the other few little titles that came out 2 years ago in the early November part of the month. I'm talking also about Spyro Reignited Trilogy. This is the remake of the Spyro Trilogy, which again I'm a bit surprised. Speaking of remakes, I don't know if there was an audience that really wanted Spyro to come back, but I guess some people wanted to see it. I don't know. I haven't played the remake. I wasn't a huge fan of Spyro, but I guess
No, me
some
too.
people were nostalgic enough to grant.
Yeah, the game had a big
a
nostalgic fandom that nobody really knew about. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
knew about, certainly.
Yeah, well, it did pretty well for itself
Yep,
in terms
true.
of scores.
I
Well,
played the trilogy back in the PlayStation 1 saga
mhm.
because
Did-
there was a lot of free games at that stage.
Did you like it? Were you a fan
Uh,
of Spyro back then?
Fun, no, but I remember there was like this thirsty for, platform gaming after Mario
Yeah.
was released. Crash couldn't fill this because they stopped on the third one, so they released
Mhm.
these one, Jack Enter the Jacko, Croc 2, which were very basic game, Ape Escape. So I remember when Spyro was released and you could move the camera with the analog stick. I think it was quite a thing, and then there was this element of collecting these diamonds. But as a story itself, it wasn't a great brand.
Mm.
I always ask
Yeah.
myself why they didn't redo the remake of Maximo, for instance, which is a game on the same line, which was released on PS2.
Because maybe Maximo is from Capcom.
Probably.
And Capcom doesn't.
Capcom
like
is
that.
busy doing very beautiful video game right now. Let's not bother them, okay?
Right.
Good memory about Maximo from Capcom. I didn't remember. That's why, because it's basically Ghosts and Goblins rebranded.
Yeah, it's
Which is-
true. Now that I think about it, it is Ghosts and Goblins. I didn't make
Which
that
is in the
connection.
same universe of my favorite video game of SNES that I talk about on a couple of previous episodes.
Was it?
Oh shit.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah. You told me about
Demon's Crest.
Demon's Crest. That's right.
Same
There
universe
is
of Ghosts and Goblins.
another little interesting trivia surrounding Spyro Trilogy. The game was developed by Toys for Bob.
Who?
Right, Toys for Bob.
Who?
Toys for Bob. Well,
Who's Bob?
believe it or not, this is a really strange name for a video game company, but Toys for Bob is actually a company of geniuses. But nobody knows about them. I'll guide you through the games that they did. These guys are really proper hardcore old style programmer. Toys for Bob created Pandemonium,
Oh,
right?
Great
yeah.
game.
They created Madagascar, the game, but they also created little things like, their huge success, the thing that made them make money was Skylanders, the toys things.
yeah.
So the whole concept of having toys that you can also
but
play and it's kind of
yeah.
it actually comes from this company, Toys for Bob. And this company, more recently, is the developers of Crash Bandicoot 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, which is making a splash these days, very acclaimed. It's also a very hard game. This is also developed by Toys for Bob. So there you go. I expect...
So no Naughty Dog? Wait, no Naughty Dog?
No Naughty Dog was involved in the making of Crash 4.
Wait, how?
So
Weird.
the Crash 4 was handled by the same people that did Spyro remake.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, like, you did this well, it's a platform, you did
they also
pretty well.
redo the remake of the Crash trilogy?
No.
Huh.
No, strangely enough, sorry. They did make it.
So they are the Sony retro remake guys now.
I don't know, because Insane Trilogy actually came out on Switch as well. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's complicated.
It's Sony, no.
So
it's complicated, yeah.
It seems to me that, according to their bio, they only did the Switch version of Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Possibly because they were busy creating Crash 4.
True.
So there you go. They did have their hands on it. But it's a company that has been going around for 30 years, believe it or not. They've been making a lot of silent hits. Games like Pandemonium or Skylanders. And you never really know about Toys for Bob, but there you go. They made a name for themselves.
We certainly didn't.
Yep.
Awesome.
2 years ago was also the release of SNK 40th Anniversary Collection, which is a bunch of games, blah blah blah. But I don't think we have much to say about this and about the rest of the schedule from 2 years ago. I'm gonna guide you guys through a couple of news, and we're gonna wrap up our episode. Okay, there is one news that is interesting. The director of Final Fantasy 15, Hajime Tabata, after making Final Fantasy 15 and after Final Fantasy 15 DLCs being cancelled, decided, you know what, we're canceling everything, so I'm gonna quit.
So
Which
this was
literally-
actually his last Final Fantasy.
He did this. This was his last Final Fantasy. He had worked on a number of Final Fantasies before, not the main ones, but Final Fantasy 15 was his first main ones. Yeah, so he leaves Square Enix after plenty of time, and for a lot of time people didn't know what game he was going to make.
Mhm.
And turns out that he was going to create his own studio, which he did, but to this day the game did not come out yet. And the reason why the game did not come out yet is that the game was actually a tie-in with the Olympics,
Oh,
and the Olympics got delayed. And this is actually
Paralympics.
Paralympics' first ever video game. So he
Wow,
created
big.
a company called Pegasus Dream Tour. No, sorry, the game is called Pegasus Dream Tour. This is it's getting really weird. I'm sorry if it's confusing, but it's a pretty strange project.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it's a Paralympic game that was supposed to come out this year, but as you know, COVID delayed the whole thing.
Mm.
And he created this game. He was working on it pretty hard, and yeah. So it's strange when you go from doing Final Fantasy 15 to making the first ever Paralympics video game. I mean, I think there was a need for a video game like that. I think it's
Sure,
really interesting.
there's no market there, and maybe he's doing something that he really generally feels it's good for the world. So
I think
that's
so. I think so, and I think it's a
amazing.
lovely idea. But we're not going to see it anymore, at least for another few months.
A couple of years.
You know, the website is on if you want to check it out, and this is the teaser image. It seems interesting and unusual, so that's a nice combination, and we look
For
forward
Japan.
to. Yeah, I mean, it looks Japanese in
It's
essence.
Japanese. It's
in
weird.
essence, which is good for Japanese Olympics. So you can see where this originated. They probably wanted to do something particular, but that's the story with the Hajime Tabata guy. I am going to just wrap up this episode thanking you guys, remembering that Stan Lee died 2 years ago, 95, and you guys can just invite our audience to check out your streams. And where can people find you? If there's anything else you guys want to throw out, feel free to do so, and if not, no. Mick,
Russell? Oh, I'll go.
okay, yeah, go ahead,
Okay,
go
sure.
ahead. Mick,
Yeah, you can
first of
find-
all, congratulations on the milestone of 300 followers on your
Oh,
Twitch channel.
thank you. Thank you so much. Which is weird because as soon as we hit 300, we're like 295.
Really?
Yeah, I think that Twitch makes like a check on every big milestone.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe delete some unused account, or I don't know. It recounts them. But now,
No.
a couple of days after we got it.
I think what happens is that what I noticed the same. I think that some accounts get deactivated because
Yeah.
they never use them,
Maybe.
and probably these accounts they started following you at the same date, and maybe you had a bounce.
Maybe it's just a weird thing that happened. But we actually got it a couple of days. Actually, we got it when I was offline. It's pretty awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Very
you.
much deserved. I've been enjoying your streams. You also did a mini marathon stream.
I did a
Friday.
12-hour stream on the. What was it last Friday?
Yeah.
It was really nice. I really loved it.
Pretty intense.
And I'm gonna do a 24/1 during the Christmas season as well.
You sure?
Yes, there's gonna be a charity themed. We'll talk more about it when we get close to it.
Cool.
And you can find me on twitch.tv/MikMayo every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Now we're currently playing Song of Honor, which I love, and Shadow of War, which I also love. I'm really enjoying that game. And it's really nice to play with you guys. So
Yeah.
catch me there.
Cool. Prosil, where can people find you?
Oh, so it's always on Twitch twitch.tv/Prosil you play too much. I have an ongoing challenge of 100 platinums. One is left. I think it should be Last of Us 2, but it's harder than expected because I'm not using any guide. So there is a couple of collectibles that I find hard to find. If you like this kind of games, horror games or survival games, I'm gonna replay Resident Evil 1 pretty soon. And then every now and then I play Neo too.
Nice.
Cool.
I'll definitely catch you up.
I should go back to the first Resident Evil as well, and maybe prepare for the second one. I'm Game Too Late. You can find me on twitch.tv, Game Too Late. You can go on Google and digit Game Too Late, and you will find a world of social media accounts that you can follow, such as the Facebook one, and you can follow most certainly this YouTube channel. I thank my two amazing guests, and I'll be seeing you again in a matter of days for something really nice for the next episode. Guys, we're gonna go over a bunch of questions by which I will ask you your predictions for the next generation of console life cycle.
Oh,
It's gonna be juicy. It's gonna be juicy.
all
It's gonna be
PCs
interesting.
for me.
Yes. And I'll be seeing you guys in a week or so. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like. Don't forget.
Yeah,
all
do
those
that
things.
stuff, folks. Do it. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.